basement, no longer alone, with my homegirl Therese on the microphone. Music politics are just chatting it up. Brunch in the basement, see that's what's up. You never know who might run through. Legendary artists or someone brand new. You miss a lot when you miss one day. At least that's what I heard somebody say. But it doesn't really matter what whoever says. It's always a good show with Javon and Therese. Yeah. Brunch in the basement with Javon and Therese. Yeah. Let's see who we got today or what we doing today or whatever it is, it's gonna be good. Woo!
I love you all so much.
Just that's the first thing that
Adam and Eve.
we can see you now.
I know, and thank God.
Yeah, that's generally the response we get from everybody, but we keep it clean.
Yo, that was crazy.
What happened?
It had nothing to do with me. That was completely the system. I didn't double do it this time. It wasn't me.
System.
And I think they trying to hold us back. They trying to stop it, but it can't. It just ain't gonna stop. And I feel really apologetic towards Pop. I'm waiting for him to get back on wherever he is in the universe, because he had a whole plethora of things written. He took the time to do good work, to inform and prepare everybody for this.
He was amped for this one, huh?
He was ready to go.
He was
ready because Pop is so over these politics. Okay. He is 100% over it all, and so are you. And I think I have been. I wish that I could personally sue the cousin of the Great Pumpkin. I will not say the Great Pumpkin because the Great Pumpkin brought me delight as a child. So yeah, this must be like that wicked cousin. I wish there was a way that I could sue for the trauma that I've experienced since 2000.
There's a way, there's a way. You can sue anybody for anything. You just have to, devise whatever your situation is in $25,
Yeah, and $25, you said?
$25. Yeah. Just to file the suit. I mean,
it's just
that's
been
how trivial it is, really. Like,
yeah, but it's just been so much. Just being on edge, being concerned not just about my own interest, but the interest of the country going forward.
Absolutely.
And it's just too much. It's just too much. And every day, and things that I believe in, I've been raised to believe in.
Give us some examples.
What it means to be patriotic.
Patriotic.
Yeah. Going to school every day, pledging allegiance to the to the flag. And I was going to say stupid only because it just feels stupid now in this current time that people who I'm assuming also had to pledge allegiance to the flag.
What programming?
Yeah, that now use the flag as not only a symbol of hate, but as a weapon against the police. And then we'll say back the blue and Blue Lives Matter while they was trying to kill the police. So, the police are good only when they're on your side, when they're hurting others.
Anything else?
This whole otherism thing in the United States right now, it's just nasty. I've always known that there were racists and that kind of thing going on. I always knew that there were power struggles and blah blah. I always knew there were the rich at the top, Therese, Debbie wants you to know that you look so pretty. And thank you so much, Pop, for finding me, finding us, and for all that. I was just apologizing um profusely that you had written all of those wonderful comments, and I had to do a whole new thing. Nathan, we're gonna bring you on in a bit, and Gigi, I see you already in the waiting room waiting.
Oh, Gigi, you're
Yeah,
gonna have some souls to soothe today, baby.
exactly. I had yesterday, this week at work was really difficult, just to say, because as most of you know, the week before I was sick. I was very, very sick. And then it was like all of a sudden I was well. It was crazy. I was better, and that was good. I took the stupid nasty medicine that did damage, I think, to my body. I don't even understand it, but it knocked that other stuff out. So okay,
I'm
fine. Like,
so happy to see your face, though.
yeah, you get one thing, you lose another. But yeah, so work was rough. So I really wanted to create a flyer with Nathan and Gigi on it, as well as us, to just to let everybody know that we were going to be on today. So here's the thing. If you're watching the show, text the link of the show to somebody. If you're watching, especially on YouTube, just, if you're not already subscribed, subscribe, link it to somebody, let people know to check us out. And I hope you're ready to feed your soul, get your soul fed with Javon and Therese on WJBR Internet Radio. There's no RSVP needed. There's always a seat at the table. So everybody, please come. And you're watching us live. Yeah, we are the best podcast on Saturdays. Make sure you tell somebody.
Nice.
And yes, I agree. Therese does look pretty. I look a
Shout
little,
out to Debbie Turner. Shout out.
and that's okay, Debbie, because I'm gonna make myself pretty in a minute. Um, so I could maybe not be equally pretty, but pretty also. And welcome, right,
Click of a button.
for the inquisitive mind and the sophisticated ear. The views, information, or opinions expressed during our Live in the Basement series are solely those of the individuals involved and do not necessarily represent those of WJBR Internet Radio. That's the disclaimer that you may hear throughout the life of this program. So, Pop wanted to remind you, as I want to remind you, and Therese wants to remind you, that you do have the right to vote. And if anyone tries to stop you, call the election protection hotline at 1-866-687-8683. If you've already voted, remember that democracy takes time. Okay, so please, if you get turned away, ask for a provisional vote, ballot right there in the moment. How you doing, Sandra? Myrtle Beach, what's up? Oh, you
Myrtle Beach. Oh man, I know she's chilling.
I wish I was out there too. If you get to your polling place on election day and they tell you you're not registered, you have the right, and you really ought to, request a provisional ballot.
Don't walk away. Don't say, damn, man. No, don't argue. Just say provisional ballot, please. Thank you.
Exactly. Pop, I love you and I appreciate you. That's what I got to say about that. And yes, we're waiting for our Gigi. We'll get to Gigi shortly. I just wanted to know, how are you doing, Rezi?
I think it's okay today to say, I don't know. I'm not going to create something that ain't there. I'm not going to undermine something that may be there. I know that there's a current that I feel as we have 3 days away, and it's like tremendous highs and lows. They're going quick. I was thinking Halloween, and I was so excited to see all the costumes folks were wearing, and it was like a summer day here in the tri-state. And just, Chulo, you were one of them. I always live to see what you gonna have on, because it's always like he's like methodical with his costumes.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
I'm watching
Down to the nails.
exactly.
Okay.
Okay. Nails was everything. And I'm watching it, and I'm feeling up, and then later on I'm seeing craziness go on in these streets with like floats and carrying on, the folks being like, listen, or hitting the news, and I'm like, what is happening with you people? Like, seriously, did you think that that was okay to do? And then I saw something with kids being chained, looking like I'm like, yeah, this is so not okay to use your children involved in your bullshit. Seriously,
Yeah.
and it's just crazy. It's disrespectful. It's so many things, and it had me looking up some stuff too, Jay, because I want to know what it means to be disqualified. Because some of this stuff, it reeks of disqualification. Because you're setting the tone on, like, like, in my opinion, I always say this when you're having an argument with somebody: pay attention to the heights they go to. There's some people that know how to do constructive arguing, and then the other people that lose their argument midway and they start going for the jugular, right?
Right.
And
Right.
in that space, they'll say a lot of things that may be mean and hurtful, that aren't fair, and sometimes not true, and mean and hurtful for no reason. But you will know they're actually level setting the heights that they will go in an argument to win, right? So the next time, expect that to be the baseline, and for them to go higher. It's what naturally occurs. So if this is the tone that the I don't know, the Great Pumpkin. I hate using that reference because you're right. It is connected to a wonderful childhood Charlie Brown episode, but I don't even want to say his dastardly name. The former president. I'll just say allegedly, because he was alleged then to clown. But I'm just saying, he's saying these things, and I don't know how they don't see this as being threatening and violent. I don't know how. And I methodically see them setting the tone for, you know, chaos and confusion by trying to make people think there's going to be some kind of unfairness in the election. You're already setting the tone for that all over the place, right?
Yeah.
I personally am like, wow, are they really going to think they're going to get away with it this time? You're not, because people are already aware of what you're doing. You know what I mean? And it's just not going to happen. But what is disqualification? Because I read it. I took the time. Gigi, thank you, because you've influenced my reading in this space. Because I'm a scan reader, for stuff like this, because I have to, everything else, like I said, I can read War and Peace. But this kind of stuff, the stuff that fucks with my cortisol, I have to scan read it and sit it back and scan read it. But when it came down to what disqualifies a candidate for presidency, running or whatever it is so nebulously written that it's trash. And I think they just may have, and it's part of it is written way back, and then there's a part that looks like maybe a bullshit addendum, and it's written so nebulously that it's almost like you can't, unless what is unpatriotic? What is that? Where it comes down to you making actual threats against your candidate. There's no way you tell anybody to against your candidate or someone in, like you're making open threats against Liz Cheney. Are you crazy? Because you don't agree with her? Is that okay? Could we do that to you? We don't agree with you. We think you should be whatever. You know what I mean? And I can't even say that because my brain won't allow me to. But do I feel it in my spirit? This clown's got to be stopped.
Yeah, it's very, very, he's very, very dangerous. I think that I know that, well, I know that I saw that they are going to the AG is supposed to be looking into it, but if Biden made any mistakes in his cabinet, it was picking Merrick Garland as the AG. because he is this slow moving peacetime. Oh, I don't want to, like, what are you kidding? If he had moved expeditiously, then we wouldn't be where we are.
So
If the attorney general would have started prosecuting, had appointed a special counsel in the beginning of Biden's presidency, then all of these charges against Trump, all of the court, all of that would have been done already. So what I'm saying is, in 2021, those Jack Smith should have already had the job in 2021. And as you see, Jack Smith has moved quickly. But I think what the thinking at that time was that they were trying to give Trump a pass, which they never should have done.
Why would you give him a pass? Like,
I don't agree with it. I think it was a big, fat, ugly mistake, which put our future in peril. And I think that, if now here's the other thing. Letitia James, Fannie Willis,
right?
Even somebody like Stacey Abrams, or if you didn't make Kamala the VP, make her AG, make one of those black women AG, he would have been toasted in 2021, because these black women are not playing. We're not playing with him, and we're not playing with anyone.
It's what you call, I have a friend that uses an expression called "at the door," right?
Yeah.
She always says this, and I love it when she goes here, because sometimes you have to correct somebody at the door when it is occurring. He's the perpetual child, right?
Exactly.
So when stuff happens, you have to say, whoa, whoa, whoa. Well, you got to stop it right there. You cannot let him get momentum, because he's already a runaway train.
That should have been a day one priority, because it also would have shut down the noise and not grown distension in his base and give them time to rev up. Because I think anybody who grew up in this country would understand in that moment that he incited a riot and an attempted coup to overthrow the country. It was an insurrection. People should have been getting arrested. People should have been getting arrested day one, but obviously he was still there day one. But day one of Biden's presidency, they should have went at this. They should have gone ahead, and for nothing, I believe that Kamala, as a prosecutor, that would have been her instinctual thing to do. To start going at it. Like the law is the law.
Right.
And that is that. And he has consistently, unapologetically broken the law in our faces time and time again. And yes, threatening Liz Cheney the way he did, disqualifying.
Come on, man. Like, and what do you think
disqualifying?
And my question is, how do you think this is appropriate behavior for a president? Like, what are you modeling? You're modeling a whole lot of things, ain't none of them presidential. And at the end of the day, it's all divisive and separatist. He's pushing a separatist agenda. And
yeah, but his agenda, the point of his agenda is separate. It is to make us go back to before even the 1950s. People are saying 1950s, Jim Crow. Before that, really, he's pulling out laws and stuff from the 1700s. And you know what that looks like for black folks in the 1700s?
Looks like chains and whips. That's what it looks like.
This current Supreme Court is the most dangerous thing in the world. And Trump getting reelected with the current Supreme Court, and they are going to, two of them are going to retire, and then they're going to put two more young ones with like minds that are going to be there forever.
Yeah, that's
Gigi
why
is having a fit. She wants to come in this room so
that is why
badly.
we need term
But
limits.
Gigi, just
Period.
hold on, okay?
Listen,
Hold your water.
we need term limits on all of it. I don't understand. Like okay, so let me just show you real quick, right? Or share with you really quickly what I was, I just needed to confirmation, right? So everybody in the house, because they have, like, what it seems is they have what's called a favored nation in the music industry. Favored nation is when everybody gets paid the same thing and they've had, no cost of living increase, right? But they don't need it because you have what they call lifetime benefits, which these are all being paid by us. So meaning, I feel like personally, I'm paying for them to do me in. Real talk. So the House of the senators and the House of Representatives all make $174,000 a year. Okay. The president of the Senate makes $193,400 a year. So does the majority leader. So does the minority leader. So the Speaker of the House makes $223,500, right? So right now, the Democrats, as of October 21st, let me just say that because that's the last update they did. The Democrats currently have a functional 51 to 49 majority in the Senate, but are overwhelmingly on defense in this year's election, which means that could flip at any time if it hasn't flipped already. All right. So, like, don't really hold the
Well, this election, they have to, we have a chance to keep the majority. We're not going to go to, it's not like we have an opportunity to gain by much. So
right.
actually what that means is, and the problem is that there are Republican and Democratic clothing like Mansion and Cinema that we used to, prior to us taking a break in the show, and we were talking about things that weren't getting done. I can't see it. It just looks like fog.
Okay.
Because you have the glow thing, I think.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So there were certain things. First of all, the bills have to come from the House of Representatives, which the Republicans have a majority there, a very slim majority, and we have a chance. We have a chance of turning that blue, and also if we can keep the Senate, then Roe v. Wade, anything they can, the Democrats will have the majority. They can pass bills, and then Kamala can sign it into law. The Senate will approve it. The vice president, Kamala, has had to act as a tiebreaker in a lot of different. She's broken the ties of more legislation than any prior vice president. She's done that more times than anybody, and the reason is because this current Senate has been more divided than any other Senate.
And I don't want Vance in that position to break any ties, because it ain't gonna happen.
Yeah. So yes, this is exactly it, Therese. You're absolutely right. And if Trump had lived in the mid 19th century, he would have been president of the Confederacy. And we know that's true.
Right.
And really, if it had been an election 20 or 25 years ago, he'd be in jail. Because like Nixon was like-minded, but he didn't even go as far as Trump. And he resigned because he got busted. Trump has no remorse, no nothing, head on. And he knew that Ford was going to also, pardon him. So
You're right, Gigi. I believe that.
so Debbie says he has a secret with Eric, but will tell us after the hearing wins. With Eric, with his son Eric, or are you talking about Roberts?
Roberts.
Yeah, and that could be that could have something to do with trying to overturn, a fairly one lost election, and they are, he's going to try to not certify it or some crap like that. Hopefully
First of all, if
they
it's any
won't
tampering this
allow
time,
that.
you know what? This is where I wish that I had done something different in my life where I could have been up there for crisis management in this space, because or may have thought enough ahead to, and it wasn't like it wasn't on my heart, but sometimes you got to go street to manage some of these crises, because just to be able to roughly draft out a crisis management plan for because there's too much. Don't you? Okay, I'm jumbling my words here
It's okay because you're
I'm
passionate.
thinking faster than I'm speaking. That's what's happening, and that's what shows up. Okay, let me slow it down in my brain a bit. Okay. Why is it, I have a question first. Why is it that when it comes down to making or holding people accountable and holding white power and privilege accountable, it takes all these, it takes forever and a day, and sometimes it seems impossible. However, simple shit, they get their panties in a bunch about, and it becomes something that they have to do and change immediately, right? So that's my thought, my feeling on it. My thought about it is that anybody that tampers up to and including Roberts should be immediately put in jail. Let them go through, and that needs to be an addendum or a process in and of itself. Election tampering, and it is, but it's not. It's these things are so vague in their what's going to happen if you do, just like this whole thing that I read about the interference. It's so vague. It doesn't, what's going to happen if you do does not get spelled out, and it does on every other level. Like I'm watching, and maybe I should stop, but I'm watching videos of people going in and assaulting poll workers.
Yes, I saw that.
I'm watching burning mailboxes or ballot
Yep.
boxes. And that is a crime.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You had this big lummox in there fighting a bunch of black women that were working the polls. You come in there with you can't go in there with any voting paraphernalia. And please, for everybody going in, do not go in with your Kamala Walsh stuff. Don't go in there with your MAGA stuff. Don't go in.
And no recording inside the election house.
Yes.
And you cannot record yourself taking your casting your vote. Do not do that. No pictures.
They will disqualify you.
Yeah, no pictures, no video. You can just, what I did last night was after I voted, we came outside and took a picture of ourselves in front of the vote here sign. And then when we got in the car, I went live on TikTok right quick just to say, hey, I did it, and how that felt. I think
I hobbled my way over after physical therapy and went in. I was in and out in less than 5 minutes. The women were very sweet. And I think about those women that were there, because there was 2 women and a what appeared to be a very young, which I was happy about, very young person in there, of age, of course, managing the voting booth, because they have all the early booths around. And I was in and out in less than 5 minutes. And I thought about them when I'm thinking about people running around doing craziness, because it's like they're just sitting there trying to do their civic duty, trying to help the process along. And then you have people coming in there wanting to do rah-rah. Cash your little stinking, if you're going to vote orange, cash your little stinking vote and leave and shut your mouths.
Exactly.
Don't have your trucks parked outside trying to intimidate folks. Stop revving up these pickups with these flags. Like, this is crazy. But you know something also, my feeling is, and Pop, you can hit me with the disclaimer in 5 seconds. Which your slip is showing, America. Your slip is really showing, and not that we didn't know, because you're trying to erase all the history relevant to slavery and everything else. But but this is current moment right now that we're living in. So what you gonna do? Wipe out everything from 2024 on back? Because at the end of the day, you're still doing the same crap, just differently, that you've done all along. And if you get to your polling place and they say some craziness, or do some craziness, ask for a supervisor politely. Don't get frustrated or upset, because that's what they want to do. They want to play us out of pocket. Just get to ask for a supervisor, ask for some intervention with a smile, because they wouldn't be working so hard for something that
that's right. And
they wouldn't be working so hard to disqualify if they knew it didn't mean anything.
Exactly.
On some of you folks that are undecided, and I don't really know how you could be. I really don't know how you could be, because at the end of the day, we stand to lose so much if this orange man gets in office again. And he should never be allowed to do anything political at all. He can't even do business in New York. So he shouldn't even be allowed to do anything else but sit down, grow old, and hopefully his grandkids will play with him. Hopefully.
So I agree with you 100%, Rez. I feel your rant. I feel your passion. There's just one, I want to address this, what Kimberly is saying. There's some buzz about some of these MAGA types looking to hurt Black women in Metro Atlanta. If you are a Black woman and you work in this area, they say keep your head on a swivel. I feel it. Be very careful.
Atlanta needs to have a game plan in there, because they need to have police officers outside of polling places, particularly on election day. I would have ramped up. If I was going to pay overtime to police, that would be the time to pay it. Just have them sit outside and make sure, in the metro area, Atlanta, because, you got suburbs too, where they do this crap too. So, you just have to keep your head on swivel, like particularly with our seniors, because, listen.
Yeah. So Black women, your secret is out. There's a secret that I would say probably more than half of you were not even aware of, and some of you, maybe 10-15% of you are still not aware of. It's our collective power. Black women, when we stand together on any cause, we are the most powerful thing on this earth. We are the mother of life. Say that again. Okay? And when we stand together, we change shit. We make shit happen. Black women. And they are hip to our game. More hip to our game than we are. We do not collectively understand our power in our unity. When we get together, Black women, we are the mother of the earth.
Amen. Amen.
We know
how to galvanize
first mother.
We know how to galvanize communities, just like Big Mama did back in the day. Remember, we held these communities down,
So the point of them going after Black women in particular, you go after anything that is powerful and that stands to change or move your power. There's a saying, Rez, that I used to say, and right after that, we're going to bring Gigi on. I just wanted to rev her up. I wanted her to be listening and wanting to break through, because when she come through, she going to be Gigi.
But I don't think you should say you're saying, because it could be misconstrued, but I know exactly what you're going to say.
But you know
I know exactly what you're going to say.
Yeah. So I won't say it, and I understand why you're saying don't say it.
Mm-hmm. And it's so apropos. I'm just.
But this is the point. This moment, is that moment, Rez.
Yeah, it is.
So I won't say my saying at some probably at an earlier stage in some old shows. I've probably said it. So look back at all the old shows that we all posted on YouTube and maybe you'll come upon it. And if you don't, as you watch the shows, you'll be entertained anyway. So it's not a waste of time. Just look for what you think. And if you know my saying,
Mm-hmm.
hit either me, Therese, up or put it in the comments or hit us up privately. And if you come up with it, I got a prize for you. I haven't
Yes.
figured out what
It's
it
a
is
very
yet,
prolific statement, you know.
but I got a prize for you. Anyway, the thing is, don't be small.
Right.
Be as big as you possibly can in your power because people will come for you.
Right.
People will come for you just for being black. People will come for you just for being a black woman and being afraid that you're powerful, but live in that power. Be that power.
Be that power God intended for you to be.
Exactly. So they don't come for you when they think you're weak and you're not, you can't hurt nobody. You can't
Right.
change you can't make a change. You know, who are you? What can you do? You know?
Mm-hmm.
They're not
Mm-hmm.
coming after people under 18 who can't vote.
Right.
They're coming
But
for black women with a picket sign. Black women who's on the way to the polls
right.
to make a difference.
Right. Right. And Debbie, I see your comment. I can't see how any Puerto Rican person can vote for him after they allowed that man to call their island, garbage. Absolutely. But you know something? There have been other sayings that I will, we have some folk that under that think their proximity to whiteness makes a difference for them, and I'm not saying that these are Puerto Ricans. What I'm saying is that after that, because like he's a running running log, or how he really feels about people, places, and things.
Mm-hmm.
And after having someone on his platform at a rally spewing these alleged jokes,
Yeah.
and and you co-signing that, and I didn't know he was gonna, like, that seems to be his go-to. He never knows nothing. Why would you
Yeah.
want a
And
president that never knows nothing?
if
know what
he
I mean?
didn't know, then he shouldn't be president.
Right.
He was vetted.
And
So
your statement went too long. What,
yeah.
like, you knew you were sitting there watching this whole thing,
Not
and then
only that, it was in the teleprompter. So if it's in the teleprompter, somebody had to put it in the teleprompter. It had to be vetted. He also wanted to put in there what was in his original statement was he wanted to say call Kamala the C word, but that was edited out because they felt like that was going just a step too far. So
oh, really?
so they didn't allow him to say that. So when you know that they didn't allow him to say something, they allowed him to say what he said. But here's the bigger thing about this whole thing about this comedian. Not only did he make a comment about Puerto Ricans, he made a comment about black people. He made a comment about Jews. He made comments about women. All of them made comments about women. There were comments about Palestinians. Okay? Puerto Ricans came out harder than anybody else. Yo, I love my Boricua posse, my Boricua brethren, my primos.
Absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
love them. I love them all. But let me tell you this, when they made the watermelon comment right after the garbage comment, I haven't heard a freaking peep out of our black community. And I'm going to tell you what I think.
What you
And
think?
then I'm going to bring Gigi right on right here. Okay?
All right.
What I think is that we're so accustomed of decades and decades and decades of these watermelon, big lip, lazy Negro comments that we're desensitized. And our brothers are not standing up and making noise the way Puerto Ricans are like, you was talking to me? they're saying the quiet parts out loud and they're saying the loud parts out loud. The loud part is that they've always been prejudiced against us. This is a known fact. This is not new. Everybody knows it. We just we don't accept it, but it's just a part of being a Black American. You know, they come out with the stupid yeah, we over it. We over it. You can't be freaking over it. We should be galvanized. And we should be reignited when we see others being newly offended. Because the way Puerto Ricans stood up, they are newly offended. I know some Puerto Ricans who are light-complected Puerto Ricans who believe that they, you know, I'm a white Puerto Rican, I've heard someone say, I promise you. So she thinks that she's white. But they let her know on that day that they think she's garbage. And with that, Mrs. Torres.
Right.
Okay, Mrs. Torres. Hello.
You knew exactly what you was doing. You was really in here pushing my buttons. Hello.
I know you, Gigi. I know you, darling. How you doing?
Man. Hello,
Gigi,
Therese.
make it make sense, Gigi.
Hello, Therese. Hello,
you could go anywhere with this, Gigi.
Let me tell you. I know y'all see what I have on right now. So y'all know I spoke about my double dutch, right? So this weekend, ironically, is 40 plus double dutch. We take over Orlando weekend.
Oh.
So I am in Florida right now.
Ooh.
Okay. I came in with I told Jaji, who I am married to, a Puerto Rican woman of 18 years. We've been together almost 20. We right behind Giovanni, right? We there. I told her, I said, I want to wear one of your PR hats because I'm going to fly into Florida representing PR, as I am an African-American woman. So yes, what Giovanni is saying is so true. We have said, and the conversations Jaji and I have had over the years regarding how the Hispanic culture has been when it comes to us as Black women. Jaji has had many stories of being bullied and things like that when it came from us to them. And I could say even from me from them. And yet I am married to a Puerto Rican woman who is browner than me. Her brothers are browner than me. Her grandfather's like 4 shades browner than me. He rest his soul. Her father, who lives in Puerto Rico, the whole time when all of that stuff was going on in Maria, with all of the crazies in Puerto Rico, when he had no power, that is where we cried and prayed all the time. You remember, Giovanni, when all of that stuff happened?
Yep.
So we have supported PR inland, out of land, wherever. This right now, with all of this, I was completely offended. As I am married to a Puerto Rican woman, I'm in that family. And you know what, Javon, you are so right. Though I was offended about the watermelon comment, all I kept thinking about was what we've always said. They came for them. They came for them. They came for them. They came for me. But it didn't matter until they came for you. When are we going to get it?
Mm-hmm.
Because I saw that whole thing of blue in Puerto Rico. I had people I was on the phone with who were telling me they were there in the midst. Why we don't galvanize that way when somebody says something to us about watermelon? Was it even mentioned? I didn't hear it. I listened to some of these TikToks over these last few weeks. Some of our Black men, some of our Black women, still to this day saying things like, they're both trash. I don't want to be bothered with that. She's not really Black. And all I keep thinking to myself as I continue to hear this same rhetoric is you are helping the people who are trying to destroy you.
Exactly.
And then And then I got it right in my face yesterday. So as we all chilling at the house, my group, everybody finds this place, just an address that's supposed to be selling the best seafood. They make it there for you and season it the way you like it, and you can bring it home. And I'm in the back of this Jeep that we rented, literally in the back, right? And we all bumping, all of us pulled up in here, and we pull up to a bodega. Now, when we get out, I get out the car, we all run in there because it's like 10 minutes before the last minute you can order, and they're not going to take any more orders. So everybody's doing that. And then when I go to pay my money, gave them my card, tapped, I look up. Now, I don't know how I missed the Trump signs in there. I don't know how I missed the red flag with his name on it. I don't even know how I missed the picture. But it was after I paid, and I looked up, and the first thing I saw in this bodega of Mexicans who have literally built this thing with their own hands was Ultra MAGA all over the bodega. And I said to myself, I'm disappointed in my own people. I'm disappointed in the other people, like the Haitians still standing up there. And yet here I am in Florida, where this woman and her young teenage daughter are serving 7 African-American women who came in here piled in a Jeep to buy food from them. And y'all are calling yourselves Ultra MAGAs. As this man has done everything and continues, him and his people, to deport you as soon as he can.
You better leave them flags up for 4 years if he gets in office, because he's gonna be doing them no-knock warrants on your ass.
That's
gonna
right.
matter.
And really, if with the last name of Torres,
yes,
Rodriguez, Martinez,
right,
Velez, Velasquez, whatever it be, I'm just saying, just watch what, pay attention. Just pay attention,
right,
because the threat of mass deportation, and then,
it's
say
real.
he says it's going to be bloody, and they say they're going to deport people. And then the question was, what about American citizens? And they said they'll deport them and figure it out later.
Right. They don't care. And it's the fact that they're so clueless and thinking that they don't mean them. They keep saying, no, illegals. I am here. My parents came here and I was born here, or I came when I was such and such, and I am a No.
So what's dangerous about that?
Mistaken.
What's dangerous and what's crazy? What's crazy is that during Hurricane Maria, which that was another time that I was having agina, like, when is he gonna do something? He said, why doesn't their president give them money? It had to be explained to him
that he was,
that Puerto Rico is a U.S. territory. And he refused to give the money.
Oh, and he was trading them for, wasn't he trading them?
Yes, he wanted to sell them to Greenland, or something. He wanted to trade them to Iceland for Greenland, whatever. Something stupid, something crazy. Come on. And
for those who they came here when they were young and they were now citizens and they went through the process. So are you actually saying that, after you went through your process, nobody else is entitled to go through a process to become American?
Exactly. And people who say, well, I came here legally, or my parents came here legally, everybody should go through the same thing. Look, I personally don't care how you get here. It's what you do when you get here. It's what you do once you're here. I don't care how you got here. It's what you do once you get here. And you know who else is here? Nathan James.
So,
wait, Nathan.
Good afternoon, everybody.
The audio.
So
do you have
here? on the eve of what will be the most important day of our lives, Election Day. So before I go any further, I just want to say again, vote, 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 vote. Nothing is more crucial on Election Day than voting for our future.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hearing double up.
Hearing double up.
It
So
is.
So
Nathan,
Nathan,
do you
do
have
you have headphones?
can you put
Can you put
headphones on?
headphones on?
Because we're
Because we're
echoing.
echoing.
Say that again.
You need
You need
headphones.
headphones.
Oh, I don't have headphones.
I think it's only on
I
your
think it's
mic.
only on your mic.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
It's Nathan.
It's
So
Nathan.
Nathan,
So Nathan,
talk about what
talk
you want
about
to
what you
say.
want to
We will not
say. We
respond.
will not respond.
We will let you
We
have
will
the
let
floor.
you have the floor.
okay. Well, let me first begin by saying I agree with just about everything you and Therese and Gigi have been saying, because all of that is on point. I am astonished, by the way, with the backlash, with that horrible, offensive comment about the Puerto Rican community, about Puerto Rico itself during Trump's hate orgy at Madison Square Garden, that so many people in our country are not aware that Puerto Ricans are, in fact, American citizens. That continues to astonish me. So I'm hoping that one of the things this election cycle will accomplish is it will help educate the public as to who and where are part of our citizen community, and why we should be more cognizant of these facts. One of the issues I've always had with Puerto Rico and the other territories being either commonwealths or territories is that the people who live there have citizenship but do not have the full value of their vote. And that needs to change. I would like to see statehood for Puerto Rico and DC and all the other places. In addition, you touched also on Trump and Mike Johnson having a secret plan to subvert the election. What I think he has in mind is to manipulate the 12th Amendment in such a way that a House controlled by Republicans will give him the presidency. If there are two ways that this can happen. If neither candidate gets 270 electoral votes, the election gets forced into the House of Representatives, which then selects the president from the top three candidates in the election. And that is called a contingent election. And it means usually that the party which controls the House chooses the president. On January 3rd, the new members of Congress will be sworn in. And that will be whoever the winning party is. If the Democrats have more seats, Hakeem Jeffries will become the speaker. If the Republicans have more seats, Mike Johnson will remain the speaker. I think Trump and Johnson are trying to get enough Republican state delegations in the House to refuse to certify their electors, even if Kamala Harris is the winner. And they can use that either to go to the Supreme Court, where Trump's friends on the bench are waiting, or delay the swearing in of new members of the House long enough for Johnson and the Republicans to elect Trump. So we will see if that little scheme gets stopped as it should, or whether they actually try to get away with it.
Hello.
Hello.
You can speak.
You can speak.
Just let
Just
it
let it
Oh,
echo
okay.
slowly.
echo slowly.
Okay. The other thing I wanted to say that for us in the LGBTQ community in particular, again, this will be the most important election, the most important day of our lives. It's especially critical for the reasons I just mentioned, that we should vote blue all the way down the ticket. I think Kamala is not just a great candidate. I think she is a superlative candidate. I cannot fathom why the race between her and Trump is as close as it is. I do believe that Kamala Harris will pull off an upset. I think it will be a close one, but she will win. But that's within our reach. That's up to us. We must make every effort to vote by mail, vote in person, get all your friends and family to vote, drive them to the polls if you can. I cannot stress this enough because I don't want to wake up in January living in Nazi Germany. And as people of color, it goes without saying what could happen to us collectively, whether we are or are not part of the LGBTQ community. I will do everything I can and as much as I can on Tuesday, like all the other dedicated election officials around the country, to protect your right to a free, full, and fair election so that our futures and our children's futures can be secure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Go ahead,
Thank you,
Gigi.
Nathan.
Thank you, Nathan.
I'm gonna let you
I'm
go
gonna let you go
because
because
Thank you so much for letting me join you today. It is wonderful to be in the basement again, and I wish everybody a wonderful afternoon. Be safe, vote, and I'll see you at the polls.
hi.
Can
Are we still?
go
I'm
ahead,
not
Devon.
no longer echoing, right? Yeah.
No.
Okay. So thank
No,
you so much to Nathan James for joining us.
Thank you, Nathan.
Yeah,
thank you.
it took a lot for him to do that, and it was very important for him to join us. So, Gigi, you had put your three fingers up. What was that for?
Okay, so I wanted to say that yes, those are the two ways. And then the third is for them, what I'm responding to with Therese, and I said it's for them to get JD Vance in by getting rid of Trump, and they will have what they need by that white nationalist um, backing, right? They needed him because of all of his followers. But ultimately, their plan has always been, when I was reading and listening to some information, JD Vance has been groomed by the Heritage Foundation, brought under their fold. Because if you think back to prior all of this, he was he couldn't stand him. So this make you think about the things he said against Trump. So all of a sudden, he gets pulled under somebody's wing, taken into some kind of camp, and reprogrammed to be as the vice president elect against the same man he denigrated like crazy just a few years ago. They saw something in him to get him in this place. And everybody kept trying to figure out why would he pull JD over everybody else. It's because he will push their ultimate 2025 agenda right where they want it, and
Yep.
he is going to be their president. That has always been the plan. So if they don't like Trump no more than we do. They know he's a bumbling fool, but he brings with him that hate they need to get where they need. I seen something where they had the nerve to have a thing that they called themselves thugs. Do they not even understand what those letters mean? You are right. The hate you give. So it was definitely what y'all put under your own title exactly right.
So JD Vance is a woman-hating, misogynistic, racist creep, right?
Yes.
That's my
Yes.
personal opinion. And I found out, by watching some of this stuff, that it's because of his torrid relationship with his mother, who was a drug addict. And he keeps saying, I was raised by my Meemaw. Thank God for my Meemaw. Yeah, okay. Grow up. She's your grandmother. Okay. And he wants to tie in his mother's drug addiction to the border and the fentanyl that comes over the border. However, come to find out, his mother was stealing drugs from a pharmacy. She was a pill popper person. Okay. So, if you would lie on your mama, and he hates women. He hates women.
Yes,
so
he does.
Also, who hates women
Most of them
is
do.
the cousin of the Great Pumpkin, and
right.
This whole thing about Robert F. Kennedy Jr. becoming the head of women's health care. This man who self-claims he had a worm in his brain that ate half of the brain and then died, whatever. This man who killed a baby bear, a cub, brought it into Central Park, put it in his trunk, ate some of the bear. I mean, okay, who had 30 some odd affairs on his wife, and whose wife left him because he kept a journal of these 30 something affairs that he had on her, and he rated them. He rated the affairs.
And she's no longer here, right?
And his family, the Kennedy clan, that most Americans think of highly, those people, those Kennedys, don't think highly of Robert Kennedy Jr. They say don't vote for him, don't talk to him, don't listen to him. He is bananas. So when your whole entire family
allegedly
is giving you the bananas, hey, that's something we could pull up and show. I'm just scared to move anything on this computer right now because it is acting very funky this morning. Actually, it took an hour for me to even get it up. It happens sometimes. But anyway. Anyway, yeah, there's that. Now, did you have something you wanted to speak about specifically, Gigi? Because I also wanted to bring this part up since we were talking about women's health care.
Okay, yes. Let me talk real quick about the voting thing, because I see how many times we put it out there. So I thought that this was imperative information, right? And I actually heard some of this on a TikTok as a guy who was part of the election process, like way up there on the Democratic side, talking about the provisional votes, right? So it made me start digging into that, and then y'all brought it up today. So their plan is to reassign the responsibility for prosecuting election-related offenses. This is on 562 in the Justice Department section of Project 2025. And it states that voter fraud includes unlawful practices concerning voter registration and ballot correction. When state legislators are silent as to procedures for absentee ballot curing or provide specific rules governing that curing, neither counties nor courts may create a cure right where one does not exist, may not modify the law on curing, and certainly cannot exchange in creating consent orders with the force of law. So they say the Department of Justice has formalized the Civil Rights Division as opposed to the Criminal Division. The Criminal Division has accordingly advised states that in the case of a crime of violence or intimidation, they should call 911. This is a mistake. With respect to the 2020 presidential election, there was no DOJ investigation of the appropriateness or lawfulness of state election guidance. So this is their revised guidance. The revised guidance addresses the insurance voting and examination of provisional ballots under the election code. Provisional ballots were originally mandated by Section 302 of Help America Vote Act. Provisional ballot amendments included in Act 12 of 2022 go in effect November 3rd, 2020. This is what was out there. However, mandate provisional ballots only for eligible voters who were not on a state's voter registration list. So when y'all kept saying, if you use the provisional ballot, if for some reason you go in there and they don't find you, then that's what they're saying it's for. But they're saying whose ballots were rejected due to some form of spoliation. So now they're saying that that is not eligible to vote. And this goes in line to what I heard that man say earlier this week, that they throw them out. We thinking this is why people may feel, and he said why people may feel without really knowing that when they say, oh, my vote doesn't count. No, your vote does count. And they do any and everything to try to discourage us by telling us or trying to override legislation by putting things in here, by starting to say they no longer want to use provisional ballots. So we have to people. We have to get these people out of politics because they are little by little, just with a stroke of a pen, trying to write our votes out. Not to count the 19 men where they're trying to get rid of women from voting altogether because they know how powerful we are. It goes right back to what Javon said in the beginning. They know what the Black woman vote means. And they feel like women's votes we shouldn't have. They should be in line with your husband. As a family, you vote as one under one roof, and a woman's vote should not be separate from that. Is that what y'all are looking for?
That's exactly it. They're saying that only what they call quote unquote traditional families, a husband, a wife, and children.
That's it.
That's the only thing that constitutes a family. And the man is the head of that family, and each family should have a vote. One man, one vote.
Well, that ain't America.
Yes, that's it.
No,
that ain't America. That's not what you're inheriting.
That's what they want to do.
Yes.
Everything that they want to do is contrary to America. They do not like the rules because once they realized that once Obama became president, it was on for them. That was it.
That was on for them. That was it.
A Black man running and now a Black woman. Which they see us as, you know, what they see us as, whatever. I don't give a shit what they say. But that's what it is. And they are going to trick, slick, do everything they can to go backwards. They want to go backwards. They want to go back to a time, and we're not going back.
No.
That's it.
No, listen, you creeps. That ain't what America is. This is not what you're inheriting by being blessed into be able to be into leadership into this country. So like you have a whole lot of different types of families that identify so many different ways. And that's the problem. They don't have a plan for it. They're afraid of it. They feel like the people somehow fuck with their own position to be, you know, particularly talking about same gender loving households. You know, we don't move your needle in your household. You know, you can still continue to be with the exception of you politicians that are under the cover, and you know who you are. Shout out to Florida.
Mm-hmm.
So and these laws, these laws, because I personally know some stuff for sure, and I won't say it because but at the end of the day, let's just say McGreevy wasn't the only one playing
Yeah.
in people's face. Okay.
Okay.
And Kimberly, you're absolutely right. Black men can be just as sexist as any other men. Puerto Rican men can be sexist. Every man can be, anybody could be anything. Nothing is, there are no,
A monolith. That's right. Nothing's a
yeah.
monolith.
So that is understood. And when I think of some, not all, but some black men who are going for Trump, that's what they're thinking about. It's like some white women, in my opinion, it's just my opinion, will forgive the misogyny so that they can enjoy the racism. Some black men will ignore the racism so that they can enjoy the misogyny.
Yes.
But for black women, there's no excuse.
Pennsylvania is the biggest battleground state. Trump pissed off a huge portion of the electorate here with his hatred rally. I agree with you, Nathan.
Yes, he did. Thank you.
And I hope they are pissed enough to make him pay for it.
I think Kamala is going to win Pennsylvania. I think she's going to win Minnesota. I think she's going to win Wisconsin. I think she's going to win the election. They are now saying, there's somebody that I follow sometimes she is the political fixer on Instagram. She's interesting. There's also another woman, I can't think of her name, but they have some reasoning, some seasoning to their reasoning. So it kind of makes sense. It's not just, nobody can make a prediction at this point because nobody has started counting the votes. However, there is a website, if you're a poll watcher and stuff like that, which I am, but I try not to be because, you have to have a life. I just have been traumatized since 2016. I've been following everything so closely, seeing everything that Trump did, from allowing that reporter to be killed, to making deals behind the doors with Saudi Arabia and giving political military secrets to Putin, like in the White House, like just spurting it out. Of course they think he's an idiot, but not only the hate, like there's been plenty of presidents who've been racist. He ain't the first one, right, and he won't be the last one.
Right.
It's just the ignorance. Like he's so ignorant that he puts us in danger. There are countries that are actually communist countries, right? That want communism to be the rule of the land. One of the things that they're talking about is a one nation world.
Yes, one nation,
one supreme king of the world. And that's like a Putin, Kim Jong-un, those kind of people. And Trump wants to be friends with those people and be amongst that circle. But what he doesn't realize is that he is being manipulated by them. The whole point of democracy, and one of the reasons why we fight for Ukraine, why we're there with Ukraine and we provide aid to Ukraine, and everybody's like, stop supporting Ukraine, is so that Russia doesn't expand its movement onto Ukraine. And Ukraine was pivotal in us fighting the Taliban after the Twin Towers, after 9/11, and America's trying to find out who are the people that's trying to hurt people in America? We got to stop that. We got to, you can't be flying planes and killing Americans. So Ukraine helped us to find that guy, Osama bin Laden, whatever.
Find the guy that we trained.
Right, that we trained, and he did it. I mean, hell, I can train you to do a lot of things. I don't know that I don't know what we asked them to do with that training. I don't. Yeah, but Obama came in, whereas Bush was like, well, we can't find him. I don't know. He's on dialysis in the desert. How hard could it be? Okay. Obama came in and was like, stop the nonsense. We know where he is. Ukraine, will you help us? It's easier for us to get him from where you are. And Ukraine was like, anything for America. And then what are we doing? What are we doing now that they need our help? What are we doing?
Throwing our hand. They not doing enough. That's for sure.
That's like me coming to back you up. You getting ready to have a fight. And it's like, yo, Jay, let me just, could you hook me? Cause they come in and I'm like, okay, yo, I got you. I got your back. And then when it's my turn, it's like, hey, y'all like, well, I want to help you, but some of my people won't help. We struggling with whether we want to help you or not. Are you serious? Where's the struggle? Where's the question? So my whole thing is do unto others, but that's one thing. But anyway, this whole one world leader thing, it will not be Mr. Trump. Okay? If you think that that's where you're headed, no, you're not. The problem is that Americans have been too spoiled too long, I think, and do not understand the true dangers and repercussions. Therese, are you there?
She's
completely frozen. I thought she was.
I know, me too. She's like,
I thought she was being a little sarcastic there for a minute, just not listening and saying or gathering her thoughts. Like
me too. Oh, she'll be back.
She'll be back.
It goes in line, Javon, with Mahdi Hassan. You saw what that guy ended up saying to him on television. Like he was so okay with putting those words together and letting the sound go through your vocal cords and saying it out loud.
Yep.
Did you not hear yourself? And then he tried to gaslight us by saying we didn't hear what we said. Then he tried to backpedal and then he tried to say, okay, I apologize. You apologize?
Yeah.
No. No. We heard you and you don't apologize. You just realized just now that you really screwed up by saying that out loud in front of hundreds of thousands of people.
Exactly.
Not counting the people that are going to watch videos on it, millions of people. You just screwed up big time. Like, how could you say something to that magnitude to someone like that on national television? Because you have been emboldened by the man that used to be president, who is now cursing outwardly at rallies and making jokes and putting out threats against fellow Americans. So yeah, why not? And then when you're wondering why there's so much hatred and turmoil going on against our fellow people, it's because they've been told it's okay to do it. It's okay to lie. It's okay to disrespect women. It's okay to go and cross the boundaries about religion, sexuality. It's okay. Because the big orange Cheetolini said it's always been he's a Cheetolini. He really wants to be that person, and he's a Cheeto. That's why I call him Cheetolini. It's just like, are you kidding me? And please, I wish somebody would do something with that daggone makeup. I'm sick of seeing him. Now, he keeps getting darker than us. And then he turned to the side. It's like white. Like, it's just all the biggest hellscape joke. I keep feeling like I want to wake up every day.
Yeah. Speaking of wanting to wake up. So my heart went out to this woman. Her 18-year-old daughter was pregnant.
Yes.
She started to miscarry.
Mhm.
blood streaming down her leg. Her mother took
Mhm.
her to the emergency room. This happened in Houston, Texas,
Texas.
one of the states in which the Trump abortion ban is active.
Yes.
They sent the young lady away saying that they could not provide her care. The mother
Mhm.
took her 18-year-old daughter to another hospital emergency room where she was yet again turned away. By the time they took her to the third emergency room, she was really, really ill. And the doctor said, I can help, but I have to verify that the fetus is not viable.
Viable. Mhm.
So they did an ultrasound. And while they were waiting for results, the nurse said she noticed that the girl's lips had turned a powdery blue and that her internal organs started to fail. The 18-year-old died.
Mhm.
Her mother went home without her child. And
Yes.
she didn't understand why her child's life was not as valuable, was not deemed to be valuable, not deemed to be an emergency. The only thing that was emergent was the potential life of a potential fetus in her womb.
You know what's so crazy about that too is that under like baseline again, and I keep and I feel like I'm using the word baseline a lot, but part of me feels like we're not asking for much. You know what I mean? So let's just take it baseline because I know the critical thinking is off the chart for some people, right? So let's just go baseline again. When you walk into an emergency room after they take your vitals and you get triaged, there is a like even just with someone that is actively having a miscarriage, there is a certain level of stabilization. If you claim to care about the fetus, let's just say that you
Mhm.
stabilize the adult that is having the to be turned away implies that when they realized she was pregnant, and I don't want to misinterpret, but when they realize you're pregnant, you're just then not offered any kind of care at all.
Not only that, Therese, number one, I I believe, and this is allegedly, that in order to save her life, they would have had to do a DNC and get that fetus out of her womb,
Yes.
and that
Yes.
that was the problem.
But that's
Like,
that's part
That's the
two,
problem.
but that
Yeah.
right,
I hear what Teresa's saying.
you
right.
know.
But
part-
once you are pregnant, you become the vessel, and that's all they want to see you as.
Jesus.
That's it.
Yeah. But
You're no longer a
I
human life. You're a vessel.
I know what Therese you're trying to say is if you're pregnant and you've already sound that I'm pregnant, wouldn't now you care enough to make sure that me and this so-called baby you keep talking about is okay, that you would do something to make sure but when they heard bleeding, that
Yeah,
was it. That's
yeah.
it, because now the risk is too high. Well, she's bleeding. She's not truly a pregnant woman that's in good care for us to help because she's bleeding. Now she's a risk. She's a risk to my license. She's a risk to the hospital. We could go to jail, my safety, my
Yeah.
family. She's a risk. So
It
they don't even want to touch it. That's
at the
exactly the point.
at the point of the bleeding, and they do an exam, and they realize that the only way to save the mother's life is to abort the pregnancy. They cannot do it.
Yeah.
That's what the new law is. That's it.
That's it.
That's
That's
what
it.
this new law is. It's not even about, well, give her the fluids and the medicine that she needs so that she can recuperate, so that she can carry the baby. No, the only
Mm-mm.
way to save her life is to abort the baby. So they have to make sure that the baby is good and dead. And sometimes in some states, which really kills me, is that even when they know that the fetus is deceased, they will not remove. You have to give birth to the deceased fetus. So they won't just,
Yes.
do a C-section or whatever they do to remove the fetus. They make you go through the process.
Well,
That's
I
it.
know, I know of a few women, unfortunately, that
Who've had to do that.
who've
But
had
they
to do that.
right, but they now, when they can safely remove the fetus, they will make you carry that fetus for months.
Yeah.
If that's the case.
Wow.
Also, there's a woman who's been going on left wing, because the Fox doesn't want to show what the horrible results of these abortion laws. So these women have been telling their stories to other people who will listen, right?
Mhm.
And one woman said that even after she had given birth, she had placenta in her womb that was making her ill, that was putting her in
Mm-hmm.
sepsis, and they would not remove the placenta. There was no baby in there. So she had to go travel to another state to get the placenta out. We're not talking abortion as a way of what is it? Protection. What is it? Preventive care. Like well, I don't want to have a baby, so I'm having an abortion. This is beyond that. This is women's health care.
Yeah.
This
Right.
is
It's regular health care.
Yeah.
reproductive health care for women,
Right.
period. But
Has
they
it?
can
Well,
make sure your dick stay hard, but they can't
oh,
Mm,
all
take
the time,
care,
honey.
mm.
All the
take
time. Every
care of a
commercial you
woman's,
watch.
you know what I'm saying? They can't
Amen.
make
Mhm.
sure that a woman is safe.
No, because they don't care about women. That's why they're trying to strip us of all of our rights. It has nothing to do with the women. It goes back to, think about what else I had written before. I had wrote, sorry, I'm so crazy. I had read out loud to everyone before when I said that
Mhm.
about them taking ownership of a husband and wife, if a child feels an abuse, right? And they find that these parents do not fit for this child, that the state will move in immediately to take over possession. They will adopt that child out. So or if you just follow 2025 from the beginning all the way through, it all is connected. All of it, including that. They don't care about the mother, obviously, because pushing the placenta out is part two of giving birth, right? It is part, but it's not. Once the umbilical cord is snipped, it's not connected to the child anymore, but it's still a part of me. So are you trying to save me and the child, or is it only about the child? It has nothing to do with us. We are just a vessel. If they could just take our wombs and probably put them in a jar to put babies in and keep making them, they would do it as long as they have the control in it, because that's the reason why they're fighting against IVF. It's because of the fact that right now, doctors and those facilities have the ownership of, the parent has the ownerships of those eggs, not the government. If they could get ownership of the eggs, they could care less about IVF being anything but a continued stream of one income for them and control of that baby that will be born.
Yeah, it's really terrible, and I don't believe that women, white women in particular, understand what this law is about.
They don't.
I think they think as a abortion as birth control.
This
Mm-hmm.
really reeks of what the sovereign folks have been saying for a long time, that your birth certificate connects you to being a product of
A
this,
number.
yeah, of this country, and
System.
that, yeah, of the system, and
Mm-hmm.
we are possessions of the United States, which is a corporation. Now they won't ever
Correct.
say that they're a corporation, but we're voting. That's it.
Right.
So there's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of things that are, now that are coming up that make sense, and how they're
Yeah.
connected to everything.
And
Like,
the sad part is, you putting one of the worst businessmen in history in charge of the corporation.
Well, they
Are you
But he's
crazy?
not in charge. Well,
But
because
they
he's not in
trying to.
charge.
Right.
They're
He's not.
using him as the pawn, but he's not in charge. He is
Right.
so far down at this pole, it ain't even funny. He is
But
nothing but a
he don't
puppet
realize it.
with
As long as they
strings.
give him McDonald's, free McDonald's, all he can eat,
Right.
prosecute some of the people that he hates, you
That's
know.
it. That's why they let him say
so
whatever he wants to say. You notice
they
they
say
don't stop him.
they say,
They
hey,
don't
do
stop him.
do this because you know you're going to jail, right? So we now need you to do this because if you
Correct.
win,
Mm-hmm.
you stay out of jail. That's the consolation
Right.
prize.
That's it.
Yeah, it's rough. But I also see signs. I mean, we can't say with any certainty who's going to win.
I would like to project.
But yeah, I definitely believe that Kamala is going to sweep it. It is going to
Yeah, I
be
do
so
too.
deep blue. It has to be. It has to be
It
so
has to
deep
be.
blue that they can't do it. They
Right.
can't. You can't touch this.
Right.
You know, like I said, they are showing signs that he was only 5 points up in Kansas, red ass Kansas. But Kansas also has a Democrat in the House of Representatives.
Mm-hmm.
Kansas votes the way Kansas wants to vote. And there are some red states that turned down the abortion law that voted
Yes, they
against
did.
that. And those women may be galvanized. And in some of those states, like a state like Florida, I believe my Boricua posse is going to show out.
I hope so.
I think so too.
I hope so.
I think they really are. And I think
You
you'd be
just,
even
you done
surprised
started
about
something,
Kansas because
Gigi.
I went I went to go visit Tyree in Wichita City, Kansas.
Mm.
And now there were a lot of
Uh-oh.
in them
You
don't
wait.
can you hear me?
You're buffering a little bit. Say that
Can you
again.
hear me?
I can hear you now. Say it again.
I said I said that there were a lot of Harris Walls signs out in them streets of Wichita, Kansas.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
So that's one place.
I can hear y'all and I can see you.
We heard what you said, that in Wichita there was a lot of Harris Wall signs.
Okay.
Yeah, we heard you. It's it's a
Yes.
little blurry, but
Yes.
you're still with us, you know. I just want to say that if for any reason you vote and or you haven't had an opportunity to vote and you're thinking about it, and yeah, there's enough people that's going to vote, every single vote matters. And at the end of the day, regardless of what happens in this country, you want to be able to say to yourself, for yourself, that you did what you could do.
Right. Right. Your voice is more powerful with a vote behind it. Because without your vote, you're just talking shit and miss me.
Yeah, I think Gigi is completely frozen at this point. I'm gonna take you down, Gigi. If you want to rejoin, you got last words. Oh wait, there you go. Looks like you're moving again. Are you moving again? Now I see a black. Oh wait, hold up. There you go. Are you
Okay, I
moving
need to
again,
leave
Gigi?
anyway.
We heard that. You need to leave anyway. I heard you. Okay, well, Gigi had to go. So we thank Gigi and Nathan.
Yes. Thank you both for your words and words of wisdom, comfort, and research. And you know, like Nathan also, you know, he spelled it out so poignantly. And you know, I'm sure that there are more masterful minds within the Harris Walsh campaign, and you know, and in democracy as a whole that are closer to the pulse, that can think about some of the things that were said here on this show, and galvanized to be able to do something about the three things that he mentioned, uh, because I'm sitting here thinking like, wow, okay, so he's the strategy when he spoke, I was like, wow, that's interesting. Yeah, I believe he's absolutely right. So once you give the play out, you know, you can do a counterplay, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So the counterplay is for baseline is to get our asses out there voting blue, and there's notable wins for other side if we all do our part in this and just make sure that we are voting blue. Women, we have so much to lose. And no, Debbie, I didn't see the ads, but I don't want to see them either. I'm trying to limit my intake of rhetoric, and I didn't see the ads pressuring women to vote who their husbands vote for, because I don't have a husband, and just, this is more than an iPhone Android conversation. This is like some real serious shit here. And what Gigi said was absolutely correct, how they wanted to be one vote, one household, and back to male leadership, which is notoriously failed us as women. If we want to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth, male leadership is not as sensitive and as and inclusive as it needs to be. So it's time. It's time. And at the end of the day, presidents have a term. Yeah.
Oh, wait, too much going on there, Gigi.
Presidents have a term. I believe presidents have a term, and I believe every position in government needs to have a term. Period, including the Supreme Court.
Yeah, I agree. Gigi, any last words? Any
Yes.
last words? Go
Hi,
ahead,
hi.
Gigi.
Okay, so last words is this. We are down to the wire. We don't have many hours left. We're, after normally 73, 2 hours, then you're like, yeah, we're in the hour stage now. It's about making sure that you grab people with you when you go to the polls. If you're waiting until Tuesday, I already did my early vote. I'm like you, Javon. I couldn't do anything inside. I went through the middle of the day. The lines were long, so it was really good. Please, please, please make sure that you bring people with you. Not go to your neighbors next door. See if some of your elderly and handicapped need assistance getting to the polls. That's going to be key for us to galvanizing, getting the word out, and making sure we push to the end of this. There's no stopping. Because if we do what?
When we vote, we win.
We win. We'll win. We'll win. Look, I'm out here in Florida, like I said, and there are a lot of women out here jumping double dutch. Everyone over the age of 40. Those are all souls to the polls, right? Their
Yes.
families, their friends. We need to be making sure that when from this day forward, we have to stay more engaged. We can't allow even this one election be the thing that stops us from moving forward. We have to continue to push through. We got to remember to keep educating ourselves, educating our friends and our family about the importance of elections, because a lot of it has to do with us not truly understanding everything. Every day I learn something new. I'm proud to know that someone here in Florida that I met just on one of my online jobs registered, and I got her to register to vote. But then there's someone that I've known all my life who doesn't think that voting is important. And it's made me question all the things I thought I knew about them. I still love her, but I'm still very confused as to how you could feel like this doesn't pertain to you because you can't have children anymore. You know, so we really have
Mm.
to get to understanding what is truly the core of the reason why people vote and don't vote, and make that
Yeah.
decision and then move forward. So
And
I
it's more
appreciate
than
you.
just one reason to vote. You know, if abortion is not your thing, you don't care if women die, shame on you, but that's your
Right,
right, you know. But the economy is booming right now. Everything you
right.
want the economy to be. Um Wages are up,
Hmm.
you know, like
Unemployment is down. There's so many
unemployment
jobs.
is down. There you go. There's jobs out there to be had. So,
Yeah.
you know, it's just if you believe in equality, if you know your way of life is of any importance to you, if you know you have sisters, you know, vote for them.
Right. Vote for them. Vote for their health.
All right,
Vote for.
Gigi.
Look, Giovanni, I don't know what your plan are. You interested for Tuesday, but look, I'm gonna be very engaged in these streets and doing what I do. So if you decide to, do a show and
Uh-oh, you blacked out, Gigi.
I'll finish that sentence for her.
But
Oh, there she
I'm sorry, if you plan on doing anything for a show or a show for Tuesday, let me know. I would love to get on, but I'm gonna do what I do.
and you know I'm gonna be
I love
watching.
our America. I love you. I love
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 y'all.
you
you
back.
back.
You know I'm gonna be looking at
Bye.
every show. See you, Gigi. I'm gonna be watching and monitoring the polls the whole time. Once they start counting, when the first numbers come in, they usually come in the evening on Tuesday, and voting will not stop. The counting does not stop until like Wednesday or Thursday. When the when it's all said and done. So you know let's just see how it goes, but I feel like it's going to be a landslide. It's going to be a big old blue wave.
Yeah, yeah.
Groups of
And
7. That's what's up. That's what's
yeah,
up.
yeah, just come prepared to watch each other's back, and I'm not suggesting anybody fight, but like I said, I'm not unsuggesting it either if you find yourself in the position of defense, but not in the polls, just I just pray for everybody to be safe and to be treated fairly during this time. This is one for the books. Just when you didn't think it could get any worse, we are set back and in danger of, even more than we were the first time. And I don't know, misogyny is continuously mind-boggling to me. It is such a mental illness, um, right up there with racism, quite frankly.
Yeah.
Um, it just doesn't makes no sense. It makes no sense. And unfortunately they are like, and with regard to women's health and health care services, that's still, that's not that old. you know so I mean, going back in a sense, there's some things that came about in my lifetime that you thought would have been here already for women,
Yeah.
like even medications and things that they clinical trials, just and I've spoken about those things for years. Like, women's healthcare is relatively new compared to you
Yeah.
know
And they are today in 2024 denying modern medicine to women in need and watching them die because of politics,
yeah.
because of fear that there's a browning of America.
Well, we knew this was happening. Like, they had enough time to
And,
prepare
and
their
here- and
state.
here's the thing, though. Here's the thing, though. This 18-year-old was a young, blonde, blue-eyed young lady.
Hmm.
So what did you succeed in by killing that life, by ending that life? What's your thing?
Your point. Yeah, it's like
What is the point?
these are all your feelings. They're not the facts for everybody. Like that's a thing that I consistently do not have a space for. Is that, it's okay for you to govern how you want to govern your family,
Right.
your life, but but like religion, like healthcare, like everything else, like you have a right to make your choices that value your household, as do I.
But
I don't
guess
have an issue with how you do that. But the moment you think that you have a right to tell me what happens in my household, too, there is where we have a problem,
this is
because
the
it's
thing.
not free anymore.
Yeah, this is the thing. They are denying people the right to life. That girl is no longer here. Liberty, which equates to freedom. And the pursuit of happiness. The pursuit of happiness is you being able to love who you love, marry who you want to marry, give birth when and how you want to, go to school or not. That's the pursuit of happiness.
Yeah.
So those are the things, the parts of being American that I've always valued the most.
You
Freedom
know,
of religion, freedom, and the pursuit of happiness, life, liberty.
yeah, you're contradicting your own stuff now, blatantly contradicting. And and in a minute, I wouldn't be surprised somebody wants to define all of what that actually meant versus our interpretation of what it meant. Because like it just gets you thinking. You know what I mean? You're going back from your early orientation, and thank you for that reference. I pledge allegiance to a flag. You're pledging allegiance to an inanimate object that never ever connoted anything fair for people of color in this country. Ever.
Mm-hmm.
And to the republic for which it
Which it
stands,
stands, one
one
nation
nation, under God,
under God,
indivisible, with justice,
indivisible. But here it is that you're dividing it, right? Indivisible,
indivisible, with
with
justice,
liberty and
liberty,
justice,
and justice for all.
with liberty
Liberty and justice for
and
all.
justice.
For
The
all.
math ain't mathing.
For all.
The math ain't mathing. So yes, I agree with that, Debbie. The point of eliminating the Board of Education is so that impoverished children cannot be educated, and it will look like education looked like.
It won't be education. They be pre-cell. They'll be
Right.
what do you call pre-holding cells for jail? That's all
Right.
it is.
So education will be left up to the states. And we already know, as it is, even with federal funding, we have teachers buying school supplies for kids.
Facts. How about that? Thank you
Buying
for that.
books, buying all sorts of supplies for their learning.
And parent and kids coming home with letters from parents talking about how many packs of crayons you need to buy for your one child attending the school. You need to buy 12 packs of crayons. Why? Just because little Johnny down the block. And I don't mind that. That I don't mind. Little Johnny down the block, you don't have him. You know what? Then we need to make a centralized.
We'll get you some.
But these are supplies.
He wants to change history, and certain things cannot be taught. And if they don't listen, like the blue states, like in New York, you want to teach things that he don't agree with you teaching, then there'll be penalties.
And what happens? Let's just play devil's advocate for a second, Jay. You ready? What happens if they are okay, so all of these teachings have been in place forever, right? So now Florida and other places have a problem with it being taught, and you can't say certain things and all that other crap, right? But what happened? What happened at the fact that they were taught? There's been no overturning of the government. There's been nothing for all these years. And now you decide, you know what? We don't want these taught anymore. It's doing whatever.
They're burning books, and so that those things can no longer be taught in schools. Teachers are being fired for teaching the true history. They are threatening jail for teachers.
Yeah, but as a result from it being taught, now this is all happening now.
Mm-hmm.
As a result from it being taught when
When
you
we
were
went
in
to
school and
right?
I was in school and
Right.
understanding what it is, right?
Uh-huh.
There's been no repercussions for it being taught. There's been no overturning
yes,
of
they
the
have.
government.
No, it's not about overturning the government. It's the browning of America. It's the fact that we're quote unquote woke now. Okay, it's they want everybody to go to sleep. Go back to sleep. We have a voice, and it happened over a period of time where people are more invested in their rights. People are more invested in unity, diversity. People are more open to LGBTQ relationships, or let's just put it like this: LGBTQ relationships are now legal marriage. Now people are out, and so what? Hello, we should have been out decades and decades ago, but as a result of being taught empathy, being taught what rights really are, being taught about your freedoms of choice and what happens to people who are oppressed, being taught about oppression, we collectively, more of us than not, have developed empathy for others. Because of the disabilities acts, we have more empathies, and we expect rights and help for those who have handicaps, who have this and that and the other, who are others. And that
What's the othering?
It's the othering.
It's
And
the
that
inclusion
is
of the othering.
right.
Okay.
Inclusion is
Okay.
the result of education.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. I like the argument on that.
And not only that, it's something
You got to tell me why you need to all of a sudden, why it's so imperative that you're erasing American culture as it relates to African Americans, or as it relates to the enslaved population brought over here. Why is that so all of a sudden you can't mention that? Why all of a sudden you can't say gay? Why all of a sudden?
I've been saying this since forever, that in 100 years from now, pictures of Martin Luther King are going to depict him as a white man. If schools are taught the way they intend to teach them in Florida, you can't teach about the civil rights movement. You cannot teach that.
So Debbie raises a valid point. So in college, the professors are writing their own books, and they are having the students buy those books for the curriculum. So here we go.
If those books, if the schools or college are government funded schools, if those programs are funded by the federal government or by the state, if you have a governor like whatever his name is, DeSantis, right, who is actively implementing Project 2025 in the state of Florida, that's what he's doing, right? So he's the one burning books, shutting down libraries to empty out the books and all this other stuff. Then those professors who are writing these textbooks, if those textbooks are inclusive and truthful, then he will hold back funding. Remember, most professors are on a stipend, or they could be salaried, but
hypocrite. DeSantis is a hypocrite.
Yeah, of course he is. But the whole thing is hypocrisy. So I mean, look, the whole thing, I don't even know how to simplify this,
Mhm.
except that everything that people like you and I believe, every bit of who we are, what we believe our rights are, how we walk in this world, who we who we can be, what we know to be true, all of that is being challenged in this election, and our rights. Their goal is to strip us, you and me, as women of color, of all of our rights, and to ensure that future generations don't have those rights and don't look for those rights. They want to erase everything down to the drawers. Down to the drawers. They still think that they should be masters and we should be bowing down. And unfortunately for them, or even fortunately for them, depending on your position, the way you think, um, what was the one weapon that was the most dangerous to their um, system of slavery?
The
An
Bible,
educated black person.
that the Bible.
That well, that was their weapon of choice.
Mm.
But the one thing that they didn't want enslaved people to have is education and knowledge. And so that's why they're stripping, you know, the educational system. And also they need uneducated white folks. They
Hmm.
need that. They need uneducated white folks. There's a book. I talked about it before. A lot of people ain't gonna want to read this book. Is look, when I read it, I had to read it with a dictionary next to me. Maybe it's me. My vocabulary is not that great. So I had to read it and had a dictionary right next to me. Now you can just Google what's this word, right? The name of the book is called Pedagogy of the Oppressed.
Hmm.
And it talks about the education of poor people because rich people need people to shine their shoes and wash their toilets.
Mm-hmm.
And the more we learn and the more we grow, the less likely we are to want to wash their toilets. The more opportunities we grab for ourselves and ensure that we have, the less likely we are to shine their shoes and to do their bidding. The more educated we are. But see, what they're missing is the more educated we are, the better for our society, the whole society.
That's
The
the
more,
problem. This is an incredible amount of selfishness
yeah,
and greed and self-preserving. It has nothing to do with your next door neighbor. You don't care about the state of the country. You only care about your family immediately. You could care less. Like and you care to the extent that you will do only because it benefits you or how you look or how you are perceived, which is one of the tenets of narcissism. You know,
exactly.
like you have like and folks think, there's some folks that think that, self-preserving is what everybody should do.
Hmm.
But at the end of the day, we're not here one by one.
Exactly.
This is a community, period. Yeah, me too, Debbie. Always. It always does. My brain starts to like race in these areas. And sometimes my mouth is, well, most of the time, my mouth is not in sync with what's going through my head. You know,
Yeah. So here's my thing. I want, regardless to how this election turns out, but in my view, my hope, my prayers, and what I really really believe to be true is that Kamala is going to win, and we still have work to do because we have to make sure that this does not raise its ugly head again. But what I want to leave us with, I can't even believe it's 10 after 1. We still going. what I want to leave us with is I want everyone to remain encouraged. You know, I want everybody to just, no matter how this turns out, we're not giving in. We're not sitting down and taking it. You know, where there's a will, there's a way.
3 days left, good people. And
Stand in your truth.
we're at the stroke of the angel numbers, and we got 3 days left to turn this thing into something historic.
Exactly. And I want to end with a song being sung by one of you and our favorite people, and one of my favorite voices. I'm going to assume one of yours as well.
Okay.
And with that, everybody, peace. Don't forget to vote. We love you.
We love you.
Stay
Vote.
strong.
Vote blue.
Vote. Go blue.
And no matter how you feel, speak a word and you will be healed. Speak over yourself, encourage yourself in the Lord. Oh, sometimes you have to speak a word over yourself. The devil is all around, but God is a present help. Well, the enemy created walls, but remember, giants, they do fall. Speak over yourself, encourage yourself in the Lord. Oh, as I minister to you, oh, I minister to myself. Life can hurt your soul till you feel there's nothing left. No matter how you feel, speak a word, you will be healed. Speak over. Speak over. Speak over yourself. Sometimes you gotta speak a word. Sometimes you gotta speak a word. Can't wait for mama, preacher, daddy, lover, friend. You gotta speak a word. There's power. There's power in our words. We gotta remember that. We gotta remember that. Because we speak a lot of bullshit into our own lives. Okay? He knows I curse. He knows what it is. He made me. We gotta remember that, okay? I try to remind myself every day. Bind that tongue, Jesus. Thank you, God. Speak over yourself. Encourage yourself. In the Lord. Thank you, Jesus.
What's up, everybody? This is Cy Smith, and you are in the basement with Javon and Therese. In the basement with Javon and Therese. In the basement with Javon and Therese. With the basement, hey, with Javon and Therese.
Ooh, I dig that.
to and watching Brunch in the Basement with Javon and Therese.
Still in the basement, no longer alone, with my homegirl Therese on the microphone. Music politics are just chatting it up. Brunch in the basement, see that's what's up. You never know who might run through. Legendary artist or someone brand new. You miss a lot when you miss one day. At least that's what I heard somebody say. But it doesn't really matter what whoever says. It's always a good show with Javon and Therese. Yeah. Brunch in the basement with Javon and Therese. Yeah. Let's see who we got today.
Come on, everybody's a friend in my head. I already know everybody.
Whatever it is, it's gonna be good.
One day I'll tell you about me and Shaka Khan, but you know.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but she doesn't know anything about it. But anyway. No, she doesn't. She wasn't even there actually. But anyway.
Office though, Jay. Like, she's got our ears and
I'm gonna send y'all some. I'll definitely get an address. I'll send y'all out.
You can send me some cologne, because I mean, you know. Yeah. Just in case I should meet Shaka Khan, I want to smell really, you know, nice.
Oh God.
Okie dokie, babe. Whatever you say.
The time, so
and we thank you for that.
Thank you.
Yes,
thank you. This part, that little piece, I'm just gonna keep and play it all the time for myself. But no, I'm just teasing. And I think it's time, Therese, to do a little rapid fire with Mr. Richard Pryor Jr.
I think so. So
yeah.
Don't worry, we won't hurt you.